Okay. So, we have not met in 2 weeks or so. So I'll just summarize a little bit and then we'll pick up from where we left off, right? So where we were was the mind, the body, the intellect, they're common to both a wise person and an ignorant person. Both have a body, mind, intellect. But why is it that the ignorant person is very, very, taken down by it, very disturbed, very bothered by the body, mind, and intellect? And why is it that the wise person is absolutely fine? Why is it that an ignorant person gets so bogged down by the world around, by all of the things that are happening, by all of the circumstances? But a wise person walks freely and lives freely in the world. What is the difference between them? Both are going through the same things. Both have body, mind, and intellect. And mind you, it's not that the person who is wise is free from bodily afflictions. We learn also that our saints and sages, they've gone through cancer. They've gone through so many different types of illnesses, right? And it's not that they don't have families, so everybody has a family. They have a whole bigger family, so many people that come to meet them. It's not that they don't have careers. They're serving and working in the world many a times. And sometimes they're sitting in solitude. So it's not that they don't have what we have. But what is the difference? The difference is in their knowledge. When a person has knowledge, then they can live freely in this world amidst all circumstances. When a person does not have this knowledge, then a person gets very disturbed and very bogged down. So that's where we are at. Now let us see, we're going to go to verse 14. We'll read that and then we will move forward. We'll just recap that. Verse 14 is on page 40, and I'll chant and you can repeat after me. Tasmad jnanamevatra sarvada dukkha karanam tatsvarupam hinyatavyam vicharena dhunamaya. So tasmat, therefore, ajnanam eva atra means in this case between the wise person and those who are ignorant, the cause. Why is it that we are so disturbed? Why is it that we become so sorrowful? Ajnanam eva atra. Ignorance alone here is dukkha karanam, is the cause of sorrow. Tatsvarupam hinyatavyam. So its nature, the nature of ignorance should be known. Vicharena dhunamaya. And this is what I will inquire upon now. So what we're going to embark on today is to try and trace how ignorance is related to sorrow and why we put so much emphasis in knowing who we really are. We are going to talk about samsara in 7 steps. Okay, samsara in 7 steps. Step by step, we'll trace the course of samsara. Then I will explain that then how do we live in the world, if not this way? Because if there's another way to live, what I'm also trying to say is there's another way to live. We feel like we should just live how everybody's living. We should just do the same things that everybody's doing. Because everyone's doing it, so let's do it. But there's actually a different way to live. So that also we will see. Okay? So verse 15. How does samsara start? Satya buddhiryada drishye. Satya buddhiryada स्वात्मनो भिन्नता तथा सुख बुद्धिस्तदा तस्मिन् दुःख बुद्धिर्हि वा भवेत्. So first trace, right? First manifestation of ignorance, satya buddhihi yada drishye, means we take this world to be real. This is the first step. We take this world to be real. Now what do you mean? What do you mean this world is very much real? We are experiencing it. We are in it every day. But that's exactly what Vedantas say, that because we experience it, it isn't absolutely real. So first point is, because we experience something, it is an object. So anything we experience is an object. So this is an object, this floor is an object, this book is an object, this body is an object, this mind is an object, this world is an object. And what it's appearing to is a subject. So, this whole thing is an object, and what it's appearing to is a subject. So now we've divided the world into object, and that which is beyond the world, subject. So divided things into two. Now, what happens is, the object, it comes and goes. Correct? So sometimes we will experience the world, sometimes we will not experience the world. So sometimes this book will be experienced. Sometimes it won't be experienced. If I leave it down, I'm not experiencing it. If I take it back up, I'm experiencing it. Sometimes we will experience each other. Right now, we are all experiencing each other. At some point in time, we will not experience each other. This world also, sometimes it's experienced, like in the waking state, but sometimes it's not experienced by us, like in the deep sleep state. So sometimes it appears, sometimes it disappears. Because it appears and disappears, we call it illusory. Because it's appearing and it's disappearing. It's appearing and disappearing. The third point is, even when it appears, it cannot appear without awareness. It cannot appear without awareness. So for example, I am holding this book, but actually what's happening is this book is in my experience. It's in awareness. So in that awareness, I am able to experience this book, and I can say this is a book. In awareness, I am able to experience this mic and say this is a mic. Everything is happening in awareness. Without awareness, I wouldn't be able to experience anything. I wouldn't be able to experience this book, this microphone, this body, or this world. So even when we are experiencing this world, it is being experienced in our awareness. Without awareness, it will not be experienced. It will not be experienced. So even let us say, so right now I go to sleep. I'm not experiencing this. But you are experiencing it. Correct. You're experiencing it. I'm not experiencing it. But even that which you experience is dependent on your awareness. Without awareness, this cannot be experienced. So we say that this world is apparently existing. It's apparently existing means it's existing in awareness. Without awareness, cannot exist. Okay? Now I'll give you another example. Let us say you have, so this is the chit aspect. You know, we all know that consciousness, truth is Sat Chit Ananda, right? So I've given you the awareness aspect. Let's say you have a gold, a bar of gold, correct? Now you use that bar of gold to make a bracelet, a necklace, and let's say a ring and an earring, okay? Now, if you remove gold from that, is there such a thing as bracelet or necklace or ring or earring? No. Because the sum and substance of the bracelet, necklace, earring is gold. Without that gold, it just falls apart. It falls apart. It doesn't exist. It cannot exist. Correct? So we take this world, right? And so we take existence. Existence, consciousness, that pure self appears as this entire world. Without existence, what happens to this world? Will it exist or not? It will also crumble down. It will also fall apart. So this world cannot exist without existence awareness. It cannot. It depends on existence awareness. So we say that the world is not absolutely real. It is only apparently real. It's apparently real. So the first nature of ignorance is we think this world is very much real. We think this world is very much real. Okay? But actually it's only apparently real. It depends on me, existence, awareness. Okay? It's the first. Second thing is we think that the world is different from us. Think that the world is different from us. But actually the world is appearing in awareness. It is in us. I'm not saying your mind, but in awareness. So the second thing is we think the world is different from us. Completely something different from us. Now, the third thing is, because we think that the world is very much real and the world is different from us, we think that we can find joy or sorrow in the world. We think that the world has the capacity, that joy or sorrow in the world has the capacity to give me joy or sorrow. That the world can actually give me joy and sorrow. We think that. I'll give you an example that Puja Guruji Swami Tejomayananda Ji gave us. Okay? This is a very simple example, but it drives home the point. What he says is this. He said that, let us say he went out to someone's home. Right? And they were giving him a bhiksha, lunch or dinner, whatever it is. And in the table there was a plate of mangoes. And they were serving him everything except that mango, right? He's looking at the mango, he's feeling like, I would love some mangoes, this would be so nice, and he's kind of sad that, oh my gosh, I'm not getting any mangoes, what's going on, So in one way, he's wanting to relish the mango, in the other way, he's sad that he's not getting the mango, and everyone is serving him mangoes, and everyone's serving him everything else but mangoes. They're serving him everything else but mangoes. So he's not getting the mango. So finally, he gets very, very tired and he tells everyone, go to the next room and I will follow. I will come for a question and answer session. So they've served him everything, everyone's gone, and now he's alone with the mangoes, right? So he can actually eat the mango. He goes and he reaches out to the mango, and what happens? It's plastic. It's a plastic mango, right? Because it's a plastic mango, what happens? He's not anymore happy, he's not anymore sad. All that joy and sorrow has just gone. It's just gone because it's a plastic mango. How can it give you joy or sorrow? Correct? So in the same way, when we understand that this world is just appearing in awareness, how does it have the capacity to give us joy and sorrow? How? Can that snake which appears in the rope, can that actually scare us? It's an apparent snake, it's appearing in the rope. Can it scare us? Can mirage water, let us say there's mirage water there, and you know it's a mirage. Can it fulfill your thirst? Would you run to it to quench your thirst? No, right? So because this world is just apparently existing in awareness, then this world is not absolutely real. And therefore, this world actually cannot give me joy and sorrow. It cannot, right? And if I think it is real, it has the capacity to give me joy and sorrow. If I understand that it's just appearing, then it does not have the capacity to give me joy and sorrow. Because if something really gave me joy, then it would give everybody joy, correct? Your child gives you joy, but does your child give everybody joy? That means joy is not in your child, correct? Joy is not in your child, correct? If something really gave us joy, it would give us joy all the time, all the time. Hanging out with friends, it gives us joy. Okay, fine. But do we want to hang out with friends all the time? There are sometimes we say enough now. We want to go home. Correct? So the joy is not in the person, in the being, in the object. It does not have the capacity to give us joy or sorrow for that matter. For some people, mosquitoes give a lot of sorrow. Correct? But those people who are producing odomos, all those anti-repellents, it gives them a lot of happiness because they're making money. Huh? So we cannot say that something gives us joy and something gives us sorrow. It doesn't have that capacity actually. Can a phone give us joy or sorrow? It depends on who uses it, right? For a parent, if their child is too much on the phone, it's just a source of sorrow. But for someone who needs to work, the phone is a source of joy. I can work. So when we understand that the world is just apparently existing, we now know that it cannot give us joy or sorrow. It cannot. And it cannot give us what we want or what we need. It cannot. So step 1, we take the world to be real. Step 2, we take the world to be very different from us. Step 3, we then start seeing sukha buddhi and dukkha buddhi, joy and sorrow in the world. Then what is step 4? Let us see the next verse. Step 4. Ragadveshau prajayete tada chitte vritheva hi tabhyam yaham pravarteta pravarteva nivarte lokavastuni. So what is step 4? Step 4, raga dveshau prajayete. Likes and dislikes. We want something and we don't want something. Tada chitte vriteva hi. Then in the mind, it is in vain, prompted by them in vain. Tabhyam hi aham pravarteva. Then I go after something that I like. Nivarte lokavastuni, or I withdraw from objects in the world. So there arises likes and dislikes in the mind, prompted by them in vain. I pursue or withdraw from objects in the world. So now what happens? I see joy. I see that something has the capacity to give me joy. Step 4, I want that. I want that. And step 5, then, I spend all my time going after that. I see something has the capacity to give me sorrow. Step 4, dvesha. I don't want that. And step 5, I do whatever it takes to avoid that. So because we see something gives us joy, let's say a promotion, nothing wrong with that. You see that it gives you joy, then I want that. A desire will come. I want that. And when that desire comes, all my effort goes through getting that promotion, getting that promotion, getting that promotion. Right? I want that. Why not? I want a nice house, I want a nice car, I want all of these things, I want a great family, I want to go on vacation. Is there anything wrong with that? So first, we'll come to that after, but I want all of these things. So when I start wanting all of these things in the world, all my effort is just there to gain it. I'm not doing anything else. All I'm doing every day is I'm putting forth effort to get things that I want. Similarly, when I don't want something, I don't like that person, I don't want to go there, I don't want that place. When we are trying to avoid something, all our effort goes in trying to avoid that. So let us say you're going to a party and somebody that you don't like is going to be there. So first of all, a lot of effort will be, I don't want to go to the party. I don't want to go. You'll come up with so many excuses not to go to the party. Then you're dragged into the party and that person's there, all the effort not to sit, not to interact with that person, not to make eye contact. You go here, you go there, you go everywhere to avoid the person. Then for some reason you end up sitting next to the person itself. Then all the ways and means to avoid, oh, I have a phone call to make, oh, I have to go to this place, oh, I'm sorry, I have to leave early. All those attempts, everybody here has done that, I'm sure, correct? All those attempts to just avoid that, or you just want to avoid that and we leave because we just don't want to deal with it. So where is our effort going in this world? It's going to pursue things that we want and to avoid things that we don't want. And all our actions are geared towards that. So if we take a backlog of all of our actions every day, this is all we're doing. This is all we're doing. Then what happens? So is it such a bad thing to spend the whole day doing this? Let us see. Let us see the next verse. Verse 17. Labhe sukhi tatha dukhi. Labhe sukhi tatha dukhi. Kya labhe priya vastunaha. Samsaro yam maya praptaha. Samsaro yam maya praptaha. Mithya dhyasa purasaraha. Mithya dhyasa purasaraha. Labhe. If we get what we want, then step 6, we become very happy. Become very happy. Tatha dukhi hi alabhe. If we don't get it, we become very sad. And this is priya vastunaha. This is for all desired objects. Then what happens? Samsaro ayam maya praptaha. We have attained samsara. Mithya dhyasa purasaraha. Due to false superimposition. So step 6. I got something that I liked. I am very, very happy. I got something that I didn't like. I'm very, very sad. Step 7, what we experience is samsara. Why? I got something, it made me happy. Correct. But for how long? For how long? Again, we are unfulfilled. Again, we want something else. Correct? I got something and it made me sad. So we're dissatisfied. So what are our options? We're unfulfilled or dissatisfied. We get it? We're okay for a short time. But then after that, we're unfulfilled. We don't get it? Dissatisfied. And from this again, samsara happens. Samsara means that whole cycle of birth and death, that whole cycle of transmigration. So now let us just trace the steps, okay? So first is, we think the world is real. We think that it's absolutely real. And second is, we think that it exists apart from me. Like this exists apart from me, this exists apart from me, but actually everything exists in awareness. So because I take the world to be real, and because I think it is different from me, I see joy and sorrow in it. I think that it has the capacity to give me joy or sorrow. I'm unable to understand that I am actually all this. All this is a play of consciousness. All this is a play of awareness. I'm unable to understand that. So I see that things in the world can actually give me joy or sorrow. And the fourth point is, therefore, I like things and I dislike things. I like things that will give me joy. I dislike things that will give me sorrow. And step 5, all my effort goes in getting what I like and running away from what I don't like. All effort goes in this. All effort, every day, that's all we're doing. And the 6th is, when I get what I like, I become very happy for a short time. Then I'm unfulfilled. When I get what I don't like, I become very dissatisfied. I want to try again. And step 7 is samsara. Again, we go into the samsara, trying to get joy or sorrow, trying to get joy and run away from sorrow in this world. We're still trying to get joy from this world. We're still hoping that we can get some joy from this world. But when we go through this cycle, we will find out that we actually cannot. Because the world does not have that capacity to give us joy or sorrow for that matter. So the question is, what do we do? What do we do? Where do we spend our time in? A seeker spends their time in seeking, in doing their dharma and seeking. Not to gain fulfillment or happiness from the world, because the world will not give it to you. Your children will not give it to you. Your husband, your wife will not give it to you. Your parents will not give it to you. What they will give is comfort. What they will give is love. What they will give is companionship. And of course, that fleeting happiness they will also give. Because remember, this very same thing that we think makes us happy, it also makes us sad. Huh? That's what they will give. But this absolute joy can only come from within. There's no other place for it. So there is a beautiful story that Anandamayi Ma tells when asked a question about a guru and a disciple, right? And in this little insight, we learn actually what we should do and how to live our lives. So a question was asked, now what is the difference between the guru and the disciple, or God and us? So she says that there was a kingdom, a wonderful kingdom, and the king wanted to inaugurate a new area of the kingdom. And so he hired 2 painters. And there were 2 walls. He hired 2 painters and he said, I want paintings on both walls. I'll hire 2 different painters and let us see how they're able to paint. And he puts a curtain in between because he doesn't want, anybody to see anything. He doesn't want the other painter to disturb each other. He doesn't want any of that. And he gives them all the supplies. And they go on with their work. They have all the supplies, they go on with their work. Days pass, months pass, and finally the unveiling is about to take place, the unveiling of the walls. So they draw the curtains, they open it up. And first they look at this side. And when they look at this side, they see an incredibly beautiful painting, something they've never seen before. They see all kinds of, like sun, the water, the greenery, and it feels like it's so alive, it's so beautiful, it's amazing. Then they want to look at the right side, this side of the painting, so everyone turns, and there's nothing there. All that's there is that the wall was polished so well, so incredibly well, that it reflects this painting so beautifully. So the reflection of this painting shows so beautifully in this wall. And that was the work. So what is the work of God? To paint pictures. What is the work of us? To purify our minds so that we can tune into God's picture. Our work is not to create or paint or make our own pictures, decide our own future, say, I want to do this, I want to do that. In the beginning of spiritual practice, all of this is fine. All of this ambition and want and motivation, all of this is fine. But as we go deeper, our time shouldn't really be spent on pursuing the world, because what we're trying to get is not there. Our time should be spent in purifying our minds, purifying our intellect, cleansing ourselves, so that we are very much in tune with what is to unfold in our life. That's what we should be doing in our life. Doing our daily dharma as parents, as teachers, as friends, doing our spiritual sadhana. Like I explained to the kids, simple about playing hide and seek with God. Doing our spiritual sadhana, our daily dharma, going about our day-to-day life as a form of purification, purifying ourselves so that what has to unfold will unfold beautifully. And slowly, slowly, we will become more in tune with the happiness that's already within. That's the work. If we continue to feel, to take this world as something so absolutely real, then we will keep persisting. We will keep trying to find essence in that. To try to find something there in that will give me joy, but we will not be able to do it. We will keep resisting things that are coming to us. Resisting, giving them so much reality. We keep resisting things. We will keep insisting that everything has to be done a certain way. But when we understand that we have to be in the world, we have to live in the world, we have to do our duties, we have to be the best parents that we can be. All of this is absolute true, and it's an absolute must that we have to do our duties. But know that there's no need to go into the world to persist, to keep looking for answers there. There's no need to resist anything. There's no need to insist upon anything. Whatever has to happen, will unfold. So this is how a seeker lives their life, right? So in 7 steps, this is how we get samsara. This is how we get samsara. So think, what are we running after? Right? What are we running after so much? There's a story of Alexander. And Alexander had conquered so many places. And when he was dying, he said, in my coffin, I want you to stick my hands out. And they said, why? We've never done that before. He said, people should know. I came to this world, I tried to conquer everything, but I'm leaving empty. I'm not taking anything with me. Right? So that's exactly the point. We were hoarding, wanting, gaining, taking, but what are we going to take with us when we leave? And not only that, but all of this is momentary. It will come, it will also go. Don't think that anything that has come will stay with us all the time. No, it will go at its own time. So when we understand that all of this is a beautiful play of Bhagwan, beautiful play, then there's a different way to look at the world. We don't look at it as a field where I can gain my absolute joy, but we see it as a field where we can gain a lot of purity, where we can evolve, where we can grow, and where we can transcend also. So in these 7 steps, this is shown, right? I won't move into the next thing yet, but I just want to see if anyone has any questions or thoughts about this before we go into anything else. Is it clear? Yeah?
It's very hard to do though.
It's very hard to do, but So that's why the path of Jnana Yoga is thinking, right? Think, is this actually going to give me happiness? Right? Something that we're totally, is it really going to give me happiness? Why am I so attached to it? Right? At least that much thinking we can do. And if something is coming to our lives and we don't want it, is it really going to give me sorrow? You know, maybe it's something I need right now. Maybe it's something I need to accept so I can grow. So it is hard to do, but if we think deeply, then it becomes a little bit easier. The problem is we don't think. We're also busy doing whatever, this, that, doing everything. But we don't spend time on how to think about how to live life. Don't just run here, there, everywhere, but think, how should I live my life? How should I be? How should I go about my daily duties? Think. That one moment of thinking can make such a big change. Right? But we don't do it because we feel like it's wasting time. I can't waste any time, I can't sit here and do nothing. I must do something. Think. Think. It will save us so much time in the long run. Yeah.
I was thinking about why it's so hard to do. Is there a connection between dharma and this happiness, sadness feedback loop? So maybe I can explain with an example. Like our dharma is to, I guess, parent our children in the best way possible, whatever that means. And so if they are not going on the track that you expect them, or you wish for them, or you think that is correct for them, then that sadness is essential part of the course correction.
Right. Well, when we have this knowledge, right, we know that we can't insist. We know that we can't insist. So we do whatever we can to raise the children in a certain way. But if they're not going to come or turn out to be what we want, then we just have to let that go, right? Because there's nothing we can do. We've done whatever we could. At that point, there's nothing else we can do. One thing is to insist and keep worrying and keep wondering why they're not turning out like that. The other thing is to just let go. But even at the end of worrying, insisting, you'll have to let go. Correct? There's no option but to surrender. In life, there's no option but to surrender to what is about to happen. We can fight it, we'll have a tougher time. Worrying, why, nagging them, this, we'll have a tougher time. We just surrender, we say, okay, I'm letting go, let go. So that's exactly our interaction with the world. We can do whatever we can do, but don't be deluded that everything will come the way we want it to. Huh? We sometimes get deluded that, let us say in any company or any place that we are, we made such big changes, we did such wonderful things. The minute we leave, what's going to happen? People will just fix everything up and make it in a different order. Huh? So this also, when one has this knowledge, and there's less attachment, that I can do what I can for my children, but how they turn out, I have no idea. I have to let that go. And I also always remind you, think about how you turned out. Your parents also, my parents also wanted us to be something completely different. Correct? We also didn't turn out like that. We forget that. Our mom and dad told us so much, do this, do this, do this, do that, do that. And we didn't also listen. So we are experiencing now our karma. That's all. Enjoy your karma. We did it to our parents, now the kids will do it to us. Huh? And then let it go. I imagine what our parents went through. Same thing we will have to go through. Yeah.
My question is, how to practice viveka, because it seems like that was the beginning portion of the steps of samsara, right? Understanding that the world is not real, it's apparent transformation, but we are in the world, right? So if you could have any practical ways of how to, constantly remind ourselves of what is our true essence while we're so immersed in the world.
Yeah. See, there are 3 levels to live, okay? 3 levels. And this is how we can practice this viveka, what you're saying, right? This discernment. See, one level is called parasthiti. Parasthiti means where we live fixing situations all the time. We don't like the way things are, we fix the situation, right? I go to a restaurant, I'm put in this table, I don't like it, I move to another table, right? We go on vacation, we stay in this hotel, I don't like it, I move to another hotel. This parasthiti is when we're focusing on just changing situations, we become very weak. Because we can't change all situations all the time. Parasthiti, we can't keep changing all situations all the time. There might be places where we absolutely have no control. We can't change anything. So a higher level to live life is manasthiti. Manasthiti means I don't necessarily change situations outside all the time, only when it's absolutely necessary. Only when absolutely necessary, if somebody has an illness, okay, I'll ask for a better chair, a better bed, okay. But I won't always change situations outside. I'll work on my mind, right? I'll just work on my mind. We're on a 2-hour car ride and it's really tight and I'm in the middle seat. It's 2 hours, it's okay, just relax, it's not the end of the world. We go somewhere and I have nothing to eat, I'm allergic to all of this, okay, just get some rice, get something, mix it together and eat it, fine. So those people who live based on manasthiti, when they're able to change their minds according to the situation and adjust, they're stronger. They're stronger because they have no problem anywhere they go. Right? They can be adaptable with anyone, they can speak to anyone, they can be with anyone, no problem. And so this is what we can use as a technique. But at the highest level is Atmasthiti. Atmasthiti means everything is that pure self. Everything is that pure self. Because sometimes, remember, the mind may be weak. The mind, to practice manasthiti, the mind needs to be very strong. Sometimes the mind may be up and down, all things may be happening. I am that pure self. Everything is just happening in me. And everything is okay. So that is the highest point. That's how our saints and sages, that's how they live, Atmasthiti. So this is how we can, in workplace, in our family, in our relationships, if we can take ourselves from paristhiti, that changing situations, to just adapting my mind, that is a great step for a seeker. And instead of finding happiness outside, find it in my peace of mind. That's also fine. Because that's a step. It's not like we go to Atmasthiti overnight. It's a step. Instead of finding happiness outside, I find it in my peace of mind. And I'm very good at making my mind peaceful. Then, the leap there is finding happiness in my own true nature, who I am. That's Atmasthiti. So this is what we can do. Right? This is what we have to teach our kids also. That not all the time when they want to fix things, we should fix things for them. Let them suffer a little bit also. And adjust their mind instead of adjusting, things. Because then they'll become very weak. They will no have manasthiti power. And that's, if people don't have that power, it's very difficult to live life. Because there are places where we absolutely have no control. Okay.
So just one thing. So like the joys and the sorrows that we talked about. So I guess like are there like sort of like relative terms in the sense that like if you like pani puri for instance, right? So if I eat pani puri, it gives me a lot of joy.
Yeah.
Right? But I mean, like being a part of this world, I guess some simple joys and some simple pleasures kind of like are a part of our life.
Yes.
But I guess what I'm trying to say is that the joy and sorrow that we're talking about in this context are the longer, more life things. But like in your day-to-day life, you're going to have, like, you're going to still have likes. I guess like in a sense, like the food and stuff like that.
That's totally fine. See, to enjoy these things is fine, but no, it's temporary. Like,
Yes.
I have a pani puri, fine. Do you want it? Fine, right? Go eat it. You want to go somewhere for vacation? Go, fine. But be very clear that this is not going to give me that permanent happiness.
Alright.
This will give me comfort, temporary happiness, temporary pleasure. Totally fine. But that which I'm looking for, that's not there. So then we won't get bummed out. You know, be very clear that this is temporary, it will last only this time, and I'm experiencing it, and I'm done with it. Right? But my time has to be, most of my time has to be spent pursuing that which is there within me. And that kind of bliss, that is our true nature, is something that it's permanent, because it's our true nature. So it's not something that comes and goes. And it's independent. It's independent. It's independent of any person, any circumstance, any being, anything. Sometimes in the world, you know, we have this notion, if I get this, then I will be happy. If I get that, then I will be happy. So what will I do now? I'll make myself sad. This is what I'll make myself sad until I get that. Then only I'll be happy. So we are choosing to be sad. Or we are choosing to be sad because only if I get that, then I should be happy. Or therefore suffer. Correct? So this bliss which is in ourselves, which is our true nature, it's permanent, it's independent, and it's effortless. It's effortlessly there. So the time when we have too many likes and dislikes, we spend too much time on it. Too much time in trying to structure the world as per my likes and dislikes. But when I keep them to a minimum, then I live a very peaceful life and I spend that time going deeper within. Instead of trying to fix everything according to my favor. Yeah.
So then Shivani, it's attachment and expectation, right? If you don't have too much attachment to anything or any outcome, then you're in a state of bliss. Or you don't have any expectation,
Yeah.
then you're also in a state of bliss.
Correct. So if you don't have attachment, then you're in a state of bliss. What is attachment? Attachment means I depend on someone for my happiness. And if this person behaves a certain way, then I will be happy. If not, I will not be happy. Oh, get rid of that. Because we have no control over that. We have absolutely no control, so there's no point in being attached. And expectations, a basic expectation can be there that a certain, when you go to work, you have your roles and responsibilities. Everybody should fulfill their roles and responsibilities. But with expectations, we have to be very realistic, right? If this is the kind of person, if this is their ability, then this much they can do, and they should be able to do. If this is the kind of person, this much is their ability, then this much they should be able to do. So in the realm of expectations also, we should have realistic expectations. From somebody who's not so capable, don't expect this much. Relax a little bit, right? That expectation we are entitled to, that everybody must perform their dharma. That expectation is enough. Right. So in this way, when we live life knowing this, and like I explained to you, the 3 levels of paristhiti, moving from paristhiti to manasthiti to atmasthiti. When we live life like this, moving upward, moving inward, and being very much aware about all of our experiences, then we begin to mature greatly and deeply. Then we slowly begin to have access to that place that we already are. So this is, these 7 steps are for us to think about, ponder about. I'll say them again, then we'll spend some time in silence for a bit. First one is, I think that the world is very much real. Second is, I think that the world is different, apart from me awareness. Third is, then I see the world as a place of permanent joy or permanent sorrow. That the world has, I think that some things in the world can really, really make me happy, or they have the potential to really, really make me sad. Step 4, those that can make me really, really happy, I like them. Those that can make me really sad, I dislike them. Step 5, I spend all my time pursuing those things which I think will make me happy and running away from that which I think will make me sad. Then, step 6, I become happy or sad. But remember, if I become happy, for a short time, then again I want something, again I want something. And if I become sad, I'm dissatisfied. So I'm either unfulfilled or I'm dissatisfied. And step 7, samsara. Go through samsara. This is called samsara. And this samsara is because of that said here, mithyadhyasa purassaraha. Because of that false superimposition. Because I started there, giving reality to the world. Same thing you can take with the body, mind, and intellect, and ego. When I give reality to the body, mind, and intellect, and ego, then I am constantly driven by this ego, and I constantly suffer by the ups and downs in the ego, and I go through samsara. So similar, anytime when we take something to be very, very much real, whether it's this world or whether it's this ego, we will suffer. But whenever we understand that we in reality are pure awareness, pure being, then we will be very much rooted. So for those who have knowledge, they don't see the world as real, they don't see it as different from them, and they do not see the world as that which is able to give them joy or sorrow. But they serve in the world, they work in the world, ever tuned into the divine will. That's why we said we work for divinity, right? They work, they do whatever it is, but without attachment. Without attachment that this has to come my way or that has to come my way, without absolute attachment. And so whatever comes, it comes. Whatever doesn't come, it doesn't come, because they're already full. So for them it's not samsara. For those who have this knowledge of truth, it is what they call leela. Leela, it is a play. For us it's samsara, it's like a constant chakra. But for them it is leela. It's a play. That's why, yes?
So, I mean, what about when we want to see God? Is that also seeking?
Yeah, when we want to see. At the highest level, yes. At the beginning stages, when we want to seek God, it's a very beautiful thing, a noble thing. But at the higher level, that God is within you. There's a very beautiful invocation in this text. We just started this class called Vakya Vritti. It's an analysis of Tat Tvamasi, that thou art. And in the first verse, he says that I want to bow down to that truth. But how do I bow down? Because the truth is non-dual. How do I bow down? The truth is not non-dual. That truth, due to the power of Maya, comes as Bhagavan. And when that truth, through the power of Maya, comes as Bhagavan, then I bow down to that truth. I'm able to bow down to that truth. So in the beginning stages of seeking, it's very good to seek God, to want to see God, to want to be with God. But at the culmination, the understanding is the essence of God and the essence of I are the same. Because the minute that we say that God is there but not here in me, we're limiting God. The minute we say that I will realize God later and not now, we're limiting God. The minute we say that God is not in this world, God is different from this world, we're limiting God. That God, that truth is infinite. That appears as Jagat, the world, appears as Jiva, me, and appears as that Ishvara. It's only one. we'll spend a moment in silence. Just take time. Don't let anything else come to your mind. Only what we have studied today, what we have covered today. Just keep that in your mind. Shanti, Shanti.